My name is Abigail Green, on assignment at the 2016 Northwest Liberty Symposium. Next up is Elizabeth Hodge, interviewing a speaker from last night who gave a passionate reenactment of Patrick Henry's "Give Me Liberty or Give Me Death" speech.
I know not what course others may take, but as for me, give me liberty or give me death.
So Dan, you're an entrepreneur from Madison County, and you're used to working for yourself and doing different things, and yet you took time out of your schedule, and I know what it's like being an entrepreneur and running your own business. You were willing to take time out of your schedule and bring your family to the Northwest Liberty Academy to deliver Patrick Henry's famous "Give Me Liberty or Give Me Death." Tell me what motivates you that you would take the time to come and speak to a group of youth about this, and why you feel so strongly about the character of Patrick Henry.
Well, yeah, I am an entrepreneur, and so I've bumped up into a lot of regulation in my life, as you might have done as an entrepreneur. And I've come to the realization that we're not quite as free as what we think we are, or what we thought we were before we kind of decided, oh, well, I live in America, I should just start a business.
Right.
And then we start to bump into regulation and roadblocks and things. And eventually, that's led me to run for office, to get politically active, to read a lot, because I didn't feel like I was educated.
Why did you pick Patrick Henry?
Well, we got involved with a civic group. A bunch of friends just wanted to do something that, well, let me back up. I served a 2-year mission for my church, and when I was out there serving, I ran into some people that homeschooled their children. I had no idea. I didn't know you can do that. And so I wanted to homeschool my kids. And maybe just because I just didn't like my school experience, and that's evolved over time. But we got involved with a group of people who were they called themselves they had a curriculum called Thomas Jefferson Education. A guy by the name of Oliver DeMille, and I went, and my wife bugged me for years. You've got to go to this, and I'm an entrepreneur, and we were building a house at the time. I said, honey, I don't have time to go to some class, and spend a day. She goes, oh, it's 2 days. It's Friday and Saturday. I said, there's no way I can do that. And she drug and pled with me, and finally we went, and I was so inspired. I mean, I just thought, I've got to do something. And then the next thought was, I'm so dumb. I don't have any idea, and I'm 30. And I thought, it's too late. I can't have an effect. And
It's never too late.
yes, and I started to read, and I started to study, and I got challenged to run for office, and I ran for office, and then I had friends. We kind of gravitated towards friends like that, and these friends wanted to do something. It started out with just a fireworks display, and I helped to fund that. Was one of the large donors to help fund that, but we all wanted to do something more than just celebrate, 1 day a year. So we started to organize a reenactment of the Virginia Convention, along with a whole pageant.
Oh my.
So we actually had all the characters, the major characters, and we interacted with each other on stage. And I wasn't Patrick Henry the first year. I was Richard Henry Lee. And,
wow.
Yeah, and so,
Good
but then I did that, and then, I don't know, something about, so, I was more asked to do it than anything, but boy, when I started to read about him and try to get his character and just the words, the way they spoke, and interesting is you start to read scriptures that maybe you hadn't read, you said, oh, Patrick Henry was talking about these scriptural passages and the need to act in certain ways, and where freedom comes from and things. So I didn't really set out necessarily, I didn't discover Patrick Henry that through my own research. I was asked to do it, and man, it's really changed my life. So I've recite it in my mind hundreds of times, thousands of times, recite it to public,
Well, it was
maybe
quite
50
impressive.
times. But, it's funny we say it's impressive, but I said it wrong a lot of times. So
But we know a gentleman by the name of Jack Stewart who for years did
yes,
Patrick
I've
Henry
heard
here
him.
too. And he, especially as he's gotten older, he says, I forget parts of it. But I think to me, number one, most people don't know where there would be a mistake because most people don't have that memorized. But the passion with which you portrayed Patrick Henry, and I think yours is the first where I saw, instead of give me liberty or give me death, yelling it, the way you said it was so powerful because it was so pensive and so thoughtful. And I think for me, it's kind of like where we've come right now, where Patrick Henry said, we've trusted these guys for so long. We fought the good fight, and we've tried to trust them. We've tried to engage them. They're not changing. What makes you think they are? And it seems like history repeating itself right now with what's going on here.
Yeah, he says, what terms shall we find which we have not already exhausted?
Yes, exactly.
And anybody that deals with government, it seems that that's the same refrain, is what terms shall we find which we have not already exhausted? We've tried everything. What do we do next?
Right. Well, I think for me, when I served in the legislature, I saw that the more power people got, the more they wanted it. And then tonight, when Justice Eisman talked about as a judge that he saw the problem with the power, I think one of the things that our founders recognized that I love is that it rests with the people. We're the ones that have to be vigilant. You can talk about term limits or anything like that, but those guys didn't get there by themselves. And so we, the people, need to start learning our history as you've done, understanding what our founders were actually saying. They're not just old guys in a book. It's more than history. It's telling us, it's prophetic.
Yeah.
So.
Yes.
Thank you so much
I appreciate it.
for
Thank
being
you
here, for bringing your family, and for your dedication.
Thank you for inviting me. And I would just encourage youth to memorize some of this stuff. I mean, there's something about memorizing it and owning it. It really makes a difference, and it really gives you kind of the confidence to step out in other areas and not just recite what somebody else has said, but to say something that is derived from something that they've said and that's your own.
Well, it was very meaningful. We really appreciate it.
I appreciate it, Thank you.
For Northwest Liberty News, I'm Elizabeth Allen Hodge.